So, Shuya he had honestly exactly the vibes I expected from him going into it. I feel like he's the kind of person that, how do I phrase this? You probably get this vibe from watching him if you are a Yaminian. He has this personality trait where it's like, he's just real. He just says and does what he wants, and he's chill like that. You know what I mean? So if he wants to be goofy, he's just gonna be goofy. Just very, very comfy, chill vibes. Very fun. I think Shu's fashion choices are very consistent with his personality, as I've just described, right? He's very chill, very comfy. I think he was prone to essentials. Like nothing too flashy. Pants and a nice coat. You know the vibe? Yeah, that's Shuya. Very nice. Very nice. And I feel like it's exactly his vibe too, personally. Yeah, I met Uki. I've been excited for that. They told me at one point they were not usually the type to be very like touchy, but that they would not mind hugging me if we met. And that made me happy because I'm a big hugger. I can actually be very touchy when it comes to things like that. So smiles. I got my hug. But yeah, Uki is very, honestly, same as Shu. I feel like it's exactly what you expect watching them on stream. I think Uki is very chill, very relaxing to be around, very comforting vibes. And Uki was also kind of like actually my mother, if that makes sense, during the trip, because you may know this about me already. I've got very, very poor navigational skills. I'm really, really bad at finding my way around, especially in like civilization. You know what I mean? Like I can navigate a hike and I can handle things that are very different. But when it comes to modern design and like urban architecture and stuff like that, most things look exactly the same. So I get really, really lost. And they were very, very helpful in, guiding me where I needed to go. And honestly, when we were traveling and getting where we needed to go as a group, they were kind of almost consistently leading the charge. Like they knew where we were going to go. They knew exactly which way to take to get there. And we were always there on time. As far as fashion, I feel like I don't need to say anything, right? But yeah, to put a word to their style, I think is what I was going to say. I think it would be very... they have kind of something that's typical of, I would say, East Asian street fashion. Nothing too tight, nothing too restrictive. I think that's the best way that I would describe it. Maybe specifically Korean street fashion would be a more accurate descriptor because there are slight nuances. It was very, very well put together. Very, very well put together and very, very clean. And then we get to Vermilion. I met him as well. Oh my gosh, he was so sweet. It's kind of interesting. I feel like when it comes to the vibes for him on stream versus off stream, he's the first one where I almost want to call out a slight gap because I feel like on stream he's a bit mischievous. Dare I say mischievous? Dare I say a little bit of a troublemaker? Maybe troublemaker is a bit away from the word I'm looking for. I should have thought about what I wanted to say before this. He has this vibe on stream, I feel, where he's kind of like he's a teaser and he'll say something crazy and then be like, oh, JK. You know what I mean? Like he'll say something and then immediately take it back because it's crazy and it's a joke. But I feel like in person he can be a lot more like sweet and doting is what I would say. Maybe it's just my perspective though. My biased perspective. I feel like for me at least, he read throughout the trip as kind of like looking out for others. I feel like he was very, just making sure everybody's on the same page. Yeah, he was very comforting to be around, I will say. I was very happy that I could properly meet him. Anyway, about his fashion, I feel like he may not have been the best reference for like what to tell you as far as fashion goes because I think for both days he had just gotten off the clock. Yeah, he had just gotten off of work, so he showed up in a suit. It was a really nice suit though. It fit him perfectly. It looked really, really nice. I don't know if that would necessarily represent his sense of style. Do you know what I mean? Because it's more like an obligation. In fact, we did actually go to a couple stops before the escape room, but it was as an incomplete group because he was working. I was like, I need him to be here. I could tell that he cared about that kind of thing because even though it was like a work thing, even though it was a work outfit, it was nice. It was well assembled. It looked right on him. And then we get to Ginjoker. I think he is about, as far as vibes go, right? I think he's about the same as he is on stream. Here's the thing. For Zeal, the way Zeal is in a group of 2 or 3 is one thing. But the way Zeal is in a group of 4+ is a very different thing. Do you know what I mean? And I think you may witness the same in on-stream collabs. Yeah, I feel like when the group number gets bigger, he's more of a listener than a talker. You have to kind of keep an open ear to see when he's gonna chime in a good joke. So I think for most of the group stuff, he was more just kind of he was vibing, you know. He's in the moment, not a phone in sight, planning things. I don't know about that, but I think when he's in bigger company, like groups of people, he tends to live in the moment rather than really, you know, really cause a scene. I tend to be the opposite. I'm an attention, like I need all the attention. I'm a glutton for attention. When I'm in a big group, I need everybody to look at me. I contributed so little. I was determined too, because I love puzzles, even if they're difficult for me sometimes. I love solving puzzles. I was determined. I was going to be the GOAT. I was going to be the breadwinner. I was obsessed. I was like, I'm going to carry us to the finish. Anyway. I was no help in the escape room, unfortunately. I will call out Uki specifically as the MVP of the escape room. They were picking like every lock. They were following every lead. They were first on the scene every time. Yeah, I gotta shout out Uki specifically for that one. I think they carried. And we cleared it. We won. We got out. We escaped the room. And that was pretty awesome. Then we went for dinner. I probably shouldn't say anything like detailed about where we went, but I will say that we had an entirely gluten-free meal. The entire meal, every single thing we ordered was gluten-free, and it was really good. And then I got to experience my first attempt at the famous bill fight. I'm sure you've heard how these things go whenever there's a meal between livers, right? I'm sure you've heard a rumor or two. Maybe you've heard mentioned from others that fought their own battles when the check came out. I did not win. I did not win that bill fight, unfortunately. I lost that bill fight. I wasn't fast enough. I learned that day. I was determined too. I was determined to win it. I needed to come out strong on the first attempt, you know? But no. Who won? I'll leave it to the winner to declare it. But it was not me.